Oh, well, hello. Welcome, everyone, to Trashterpiece Theater.
Trashterpiece Theater.
Kenny doesn't know. Kenny's new.
Now I do.
Hooray! Oh, OCD123 knows this one. So looking forward to this one. If it's what I think, Jack Benny did a version of it on TV. You are
He
correct.
did, yeah.
This is the one.
Nice.
We don't know it. We haven't read it. We know nothing.
We know nothing.
And we got a Kenny.
Hey.
There's a Kenny. Let's talk about all the ways y'all can play with us, eh? Okay, so for $10, you can give. Oh, it's right there. It's right fucking there. I'm an idiot. Okay, for $10, you can give any of us players either accents or impressions. I think impressions have been far more popular and have happened a little bit more often. And then for $20, you can give all of us as a group accent. And so the accents will be, are we back up to 10 lines? Is it 2 pages? What are we doing? I think it's 10 lines, but if it's a group accent, everybody does it for 2 pages.
Yes.
And group accents will kind of interrupt anything else that's going on. We'll take care of that. We'll move on. Anytime we hit $100, we're all going to sing our lines for 2 full pages.
Perfect.
And that's what's happening. And then tonight, we shall be playing The Meanest Man in the World. Let's go around and say who's doing what now. Who is
Well,
doing?
you first, Cucumber. You're on top.
All right.
You on top, you on top.
Hey, everybody, I'm Cucumber. I shall be playing George.
Nice.
That's what I got.
I am Ryan. I will be playing Elliot Reed, the actor, and Father.
Weird.
And I'm Haley, and I'll be playing Naomi, the desk clerk, and the psychiatrist.
Hello, my name is Kenny. I'll be playing Norman Brokenshire, Mrs. Hudson, Gallagher, and the public address system.
Gallagher. Nice.
You're not smashing a watermelon, then I don't care.
That's right.
So are we ready to begin?
Oh,
All right.
quick question.
do
Who
we
did
start?
the casting this week, says Tiger On. That would still also
Art.
be...
Art is always doing our casting for this particular show. So this was initially put on by the Theater Guild on the air, and it was released February 17th, 1952.
Yes.
Such a little adorable.
Like a while ago.
Yeah.
Is what you're gonna do, right?
I have a...
Oh, he's got a thing.
I do. I have a thing. It did a thing. All right. That was the fanfare. And Brookshire.
The United States Steel Hour presents the Theater Guild on the air presentation of The Meanest Man in the World, starring Jimmy Stewart, Josephine Hull, Colleen Gray, with Kenny Del Mar.
Ow! Ow! Whoa!
Helping to build a better America through better steels and products of steel is the job of the industrial family that serves the nation. United States Steel. Look for our trademark, USS, on any steel product. It's your guide to quality steel. And now, as the lights go down at the Belasco Theater in New York, here is Elliot Reed speaking for the Theater Guild, one of America's foremost theatrical producers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, like a slightly delayed comic Valentine, we are sending you a farce. It's called The Meanest Man in the World by Augustine McHugh.
Augustine McHugh.
Is it for you to say?
And its only purpose is to make you laugh. Hey, we're doing it. To ensure that we are pleased to present the 3 stars, James Stewart, Josephine Hull, and Colleen Gray. And with them, Kenny Del Mar and a fine company of kindred spirits. So to get quickly to the point of our story, we raise the curtain on The Meanest Man in the World, adapted specially for the use by Patty Chayefsky and directed by Homer Fickett.
Watch your mouth.
My name to say, Picket.
Stick it.
My father, thank heavens, is not typical of the rest of the human race. My father, in case you don't know this, is a very successful lawyer. He's the clerk of Montgomery and clerk of 25 Broad Street, New York City. And he attributes his success to the fact that he is not typical of the rest of the human race. My father, to say the least, has a cynical turn of mind. My father always says...
Nice guys don't win baseball games.
Let's see. What else does my father always say? Oh, yes, in regarding kind hearts. What is your attitude in regarding kind hearts, Dad?
The road to failure is paved with kind hearts.
And?
This is a dog-eat-dog world.
And?
The good die young.
And if they don't die young, what is it they certainly don't do, Dad?
They certainly don't win ball games.
That's my dad.
We don't win bail.
Don't win bail games. Jingle bells underneath the line. The first day I went to work for my father was the day before Christmas, 1949. It was 8 o'clock in the morning, and my father was briefing me for my first case.
Here are the papers, George. Put them in your briefcase.
Paper.
This is your first case, and it's a simple assignment. What do we got?
Just thought about that.
A naughty child that just got his mouth washed out with soap. A mortgage foreclosure.
George, boy, I hope the term isn't absolutely alien to you.
No, it's just the day before Christmas, Dad, and it seems like a very strange day to foreclose mortgages on.
Don't talk back to me again or you'll get the soap again. Now, really?
I mean, why destroy this poem? It's bubbling. Christmas Eve, I mean.
It's a woman, Miss Jane Hudson.
I mean, a woman, she's probably decorating her Christmas tree now. I mean, it seems kind of unnecessary. I'm sorry I interrupted you, Dad. What were you saying?
You don't happen to know this woman, do you, George?
No. I just feel sorry for her.
Well, it's very Christian of you, boy, but it's not exactly a very plausible attitude to take under the circumstances, is it?
I guess not, Dad.
As you see here, this particular mortgage has a post-action date on it, as of January 6, 1950. Do you know what a post-action date is?
Yes, of course. A post-action date.
It means if we don't serve the foreclosure papers before January 6, we forfeit all rights to the land.
I'm pretty sure this is poison. Yes, I know that, Dad.
So you see that under the circumstances, we can regard Christmas as nothing more than a legal holiday.
Shakespeare says the quality of mercy is not strength, it falleth. Oh, we're all Boris Karloff. We are now all Boris Karloff. I will finish off that one later.
Can you give me an example? I can't. Exactly.
The Grinch,
Frankenstein,
right?
That doesn't help.
Isn't he the Grinch cartoon?
Didn't he sing the song The Grinch? Yeah, that was Boris Karloff.
That one? Is that him?
Yeah. Listen,
Yeah.
He betrayed Frankenstein monster.
yes,
I don't think-
and he talks so much.
Mr. Grinch, that's a better. Really
What is him,
deep
though?
voice.
Is he Mr. Grinch?
Yeah, I think he sings the song. I
Okay.
think.
I thought
That sounds right. Chat? Anybody?
help me,
Wikipedia, to the rescue.
help me. Yeah, someone pull up a video.
Right?
I'm looking
Yeah,
for
he
that.
was portraying
they're all
Frankenstein.
mummy. They're all a mummy or something. So he's like, "Rrrr."
Yeah. And he's the singer of the Monster Mash? What the fuck? How did we not know this?
He sings Monster
did
Mash,
the
but doesn't he sing? Does he sing the Grinch song?
I thought he was the Grinch and Tony the Tiger sang the song. Like the guy. I can't remember his real name.
He narrated the made-for-television animated film.
Yeah, so he's the narrator and the Grinch in the old cartoon. Thurl Ravenscroft.
He also
thank
provided
you,
the voice for the
Arsenal.
Grinch.
Yeah. So he's the narrator and the
He
Grinch.
did the song.
No, yeah, Thurl Ravenscroft was the song. Who is Tony the Tiger? And also one of the busts in the Haunted Mansion.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a fan. I thought I'd grow into a voice like that, Haley. I thought I had a chance.
It's not too late.
You just
Well,
cucumber,
All right,
you just
all
have to
right.
wait for your grapes to drop. That's it, but
Yeah.
get there.
from a what?
Oh, we got after that.
That's Beetlejuice for Ryan.
Nice. My favorite Ryan
Thank you, everyone.
accent.
Okay, let's do our best Boris Karloff. We'll give him a manly voice on.
Yes. All right. Shakespeare, George, is not one of our clients.
Yes, of course, Dad. I'm just gonna sing it, even though it wasn't a song.
And Montgomery and Clark are not the American Red Cross. And you are not Florence Nightingale. Our clients expect us to foreclose their mortgages and them, for them. And in
Close
the
'em.
offices of Montgomery and Clark, that means it shall be done.
Yes, Dad.
George? It's all very well to talk about mercy and goodwill to men, but the only goodwill anybody ever gave me I paid for with very hard cash. And the only people who talk about mercy are the people who want it. And I think you will find after a few years of practicing law that Christmas is nothing but a legal holiday, and that Portia in The Merchants of Venice was really a very sheltered young lady.
Yes, Dad. Boris Karloff.
George, the road to failure is paved with kind hearts. The good die young and the nice guys don't win ball games.
Yes, Dad. Rusty Tooth said he has a lilting voice, so now I'm leaning towards
that?
Monster Mash.
Well,
Ooh.
I think you'd better hurry if you intend to catch your train. I've got to get to the office.
Yes, Dad.
Now we're all vampires.
Blah. Everyone's like, here's a clip. Stop fucking this up.
Cucumber, we need to talk.
Listen, my favorite thing is he doesn't talk, okay?
It's true.
He doesn't say shit. Or he's the Grinch. Either way, I'm about an octave above that dude.
Oh, better. Yes, Miss Michelle. All right, put him
Mitchell?
through. Mitchell. Miss Mitchell. Yes, Miss Mitchell. All right, put him through. Hello, Gallagher? This is Clark here.
Hello, Clark. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Listen, Clark. You're foreclosed on that mortgage yet? Have you foreclosed?
My son is on his way up to Hudsonville now.
Then I can go ahead and sign that contract today.
Yes. I can advise you to go ahead and sign the contract.
What's the name of that stuff again? Silica?
Silicon phosphate chloride.
Well, I can't say it, and I can't spell it, but I know it's going to be worth more than radium in about a year. Do you know how much stuff is going to be worth an ounce as soon as the Food and Drug Bureau puts its seal of approval on it?
You've already explained its value to me, Mr. Gallagher.
Well, okay then. I can go sign that contract today.
Yes. In fact, according to my watch.
You sound like you're trying to seduce him. Yes. Oh, I can make that happen. Yeah.
My son should just be about now. My son should just about now be registering in a Hudsonville hotel.
What? No, it's not me.
I got nothing. I'm sure you'll like your room very much, Mr. Grinch.
Clark, well, I won't go up and look at it now. You'll just have the suitcase put in the room, will you?
We did the dash.
Sure thing, Mr. Grinch.
All right, perfect. We are. Oh, and an accent for Haley now.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Arsenal.
Someone try-
trying to remember that one guy and that one thing. It's right there on the tip of your tongue, but you can't quite recall it. Oh, then another one. Thanks, Dino.
Yay! Haley has drunk Minnie Mouse.
Yes.
So basically, the first one is me trying to name any actor in anything ever.
Oh my god.
Whoa! Holy shit!
Justin.
I'll be Yakko. I'm halfway there. Ryan's Wacko, and Haley will be Dot. Kenny will be Brain.
Yes. Love it.
Thank you very much. And wait,
Thank
do
you
we
very
hit?
much.
Justin.
But now we're going to have to sing all of our lines before we get back to all this other stuff.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Singing lines.
At the top of page 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clark, now I wonder if you could tell me how to get to 26 Spindle Hill Road.
26 Spindle Hill Road. That's old Mrs. Hudson.
Yeah!
Old Mrs. Hudson. Her grandfather founded this town. That's why it's called Hudsonville, because his name was Hudson. So that's why it's called Hudsonville. He was a nutty old coot.
Nutty?
Oh, sure. He came here prospecting for oil. He dug a well and stuck one of those underground springs. Began bottling and stuff and selling it as patent medicine. Claimed it made you feel better. It sure did. I took a swig of one of his bottles when I was just a kid. 3 parts gin, I think. Ooh, you should have seen me staggering around the kindergarten. The federal government finally made him stop for violating the law.
The Food and Drug Act.
Nope. He died in 1919. He was 103 years old at the time. Kind of makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, Mrs. Hudson, she's a nice old lady, but she's a screwier than her grandfather.
Screwy?
She keeps mice all over the place.
What do you mean she keeps mice all over the place?
Some people keep cats and dogs. Well, oh, Mrs. Hudson, she keeps mice.
You mean trained mice?
No, mice, regular mice. The kind of mice you put out mouse traps for. She's got little holes bored up in the floors and the walls. She puts cheese out for the mice to eat. She's a little screwy, you know what I mean?
Regular mice.
Yeah, she's got names for them too. Somas.
Somas.
Yeah, Somas. That's the one in her bedroom. That's the one named after her husband. Then there's Everett Langston. Some of them names for mice, huh?
Yes!
Eccentric to say the least. Eccentric. Listen, she's nuttier than a fruitcake. Well, listen, it's harmless. Lonely old widow. Let her have her fun.
Widow?
Yeah, lives there all alone with Samoas and the other mice and an orphan girl named Naomi. This girl works down at the railroad restaurant.
Orphan.
Yeah.
A widow and an orphan. I'm gonna have to foreclose a mortgage on a widow and an orphan on Christmas Eve.
Nice.
Hey, Kenny, can you
Yes?
turn on the air? It's hot as fuck. It's real warm in here today.
You're wearing a sweater.
That's weird.
I always wear a sweater. I'm classy.
Yeah.
Classy.
You're classy AF.
Thank you. See,
I'm
classy.
trying to hold
AF.
off for him because Penny has lines coming up, so we're stretching.
Oh, right. Oh, right. We got a birthday in the house, huh? Yeah. Right.
All right. Okay. You talking to me, Mr.
Scrooge. George P. Scrooge.
Yes?
This is Jane Hudson, 26 Spindle Hill Road, Hudsonville, New York. This is honestly my attempt at Yakko, and I'm realizing we live in the same headspace. I'm having a day.
Are we all doing the group one first?
Well, I've now had to move on because I finished the kids, so I'm moving on. Oh, is that a group one? Does that count as a group one? Oh, and those were like 4 individuals.
They were.
Oh yeah, what's the group
yes.
one? What was the group one?
That was, I thought it was Yakko Wacko because it was all like together. But if we do them separate, we just do them separate.
It was Boris. Did we finish Boris?
We
We
did.
did.
Okay, we finished Boris.
That was a separate
So
one?
then, yeah, Haley is on that one guy in that one thing. The rest of us are on that one, unless we want to knock those out first. If we want to do Animaniacs characters first and then come back, but I don't know.
Yeah, we should do that first because
Sure. Yeah, we can do Animaniacs.
Okay.
Yeah, Haley's just got a fat stack to get through, that's all.
True.
Okay.
Beetlejuice will come afterwards, Gyro.
All right.
Okay.
He's like, I mean, yeah.
In the
It's a
group.
where are we? Line.
You're, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Hudson, my name is Clark.
Please come in, Mr. Clark. It's quite odd standing out there in the open doorway. Now you follow me right down here to this kitchen. It's a horrible brain. Frantic with the world. Okay. It's the warmest room in the house. I'm putting up some tea. Would you like some tea, Mr. Clark? Now watch how you step on that floor sill there, Mr. Clark. There's a lot of little pieces of cheese on the floor. Do you see?
Yes, I do. Wheel of morality. Turn, turn, turn.
You know, you'll think this very strange of me, but I put that cheese out there for the mice. And I must warn you not to be alarmed if suddenly one of these scampers out and drinks the cheese away. Would you like some tea, Mr. Clark?
No.
Of course, they might not come out because...
They?
well, the mice.
Oh.
Because you're a strange presence, and they might be frightened of you. They are not mice they are not frightened of me anymore. I have one in my bedroom who positively, indolently takes his time crossing the room. I've named that one Soames because that was my husband's name.
Clink. No, please, Mrs. Hudson. I wish you weren't so hospitable to me.
I have so very few callers during this time of year, Mr. Clark, and it is a real treat for me to have you have some tea with someone. So, please.
Truth of the matter, Miss Hudson, I've come here on a very unpleasant business, and it embarrasses me to be treated so kindly.
I am not very well. Am I still doing the brain, or am I still?
You're still brain.
Yeah, this
brain?
was singing a Yakko song. You're fine.
Oh, fail. I'm not very well, and I get out of the house very little, Mr. Clark. So please sit down and have tea and talk for a little while with me.
Of course, Mrs. Hudson.
Ooh, that's very nice of you, Mr. Clark. Now, you drink your tea before it gets cold. Do you want cream or lemon?
No, just plain is fine.
Now I'll pour myself a cup. Oh, there goes one now.
What?
One of the mice. You missed him. Very quick. I'm very attached to my mice, Mr. Clark. You can become very attached to strange, very strange things when you're lonely.
Good night, everybody. Yes, I suppose so, Mrs. Hudson.
Now, how long do I do this voice for? Just keep going? Keep going?
There's 10 lines.
Yeah.
Lines?
Oh, that's... I'll go to Miss Hudson now.
Okay.
Regular voice. Now, you told me you had some unpleasant business for me. Would you like to tell me about it? Has something happened to my son, Michael?
No, Mrs. Hudson.
Or Naomi?
No. It's group, everyone pick an emotion from inside out. Joy, sadness, anger, disgust, or fear.
Well, I want anger.
Okie dokie. I'll be sadness.
Okay.
I can do fear
Okay. I'll do
if I have lines. coming up.
disgust then.
Oh, I have to do disgust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okie
Yeah.
dokie.
I still have wacko too.
Is it me?
Drink your tea before it gets cold. Is it? No, it's, Naomi was the last night, I think.
Okay. No, it's not that. It's nothing at all, Mrs. Hudson. Drink your tea, Mrs. Hudson, before it gets cold.
Musical bridge. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello, Dad.
Okay, should I do disgust or should I do wacko? Because I still haven't.
Oh, shit.
Just do wacko.
Yeah,
'cause
do
they're-
wacko.
All right.
They'll just
Yeah, we're not gonna line up anymore.
Yes, Dadu.
Fuck. This is George. I'm calling from a drugstore here in Hudsonville. Can you hear me?
Why? Yeah. Oh God. This is...
Ringo Starr. He's Ringo Starr knockoff.
He's the drummer, yeah.
Yes. What is it?
Listen, Dad, I've just been to see that old lady, Mrs. Hudson.
Yeah.
Dad, she's an old widow. She lives there with an orphan. A widow and an orphan, Dad. She's a lonely old lady, Dad. She spends all her time feeding Swiss cheese to mice.
Yeah. Did you serve the papers on her?
What is it?
Did you serve the papers on her?
I'm trying to explain to you.
George.
Yes, Dad! It's been a while since I've seen this movie.
I like you're like hysterically sad.
I want those papers served by tonight. Did you hear me?
Yes, Kermit, I did. Yes, Dad.
Is that?
You and Rusty Tooth have the same disease. He knows. He knows.
It's absolutely essential to the interest of our clients that those papers be served tonight. And in the office of Montgomery and Clark, that means it shall be done. Do you understand me?
Yes, Dad.
Now, what did you say about Swiss cheese, Dadu?
Nothing. Nothing, Dad.
Musical bridge. Knock, knock, knock.
Yes?
Mrs.
Into the mic
Jane
still.
Hudson, 26 Spindle Hill Road.
What? Mr. Clark! Please come in!
Mrs. Hudson, I am an attorney authorized to serve these foreclosure papers to you unless you can remit $60,000 to my client by January 6, 1950. You must vacate these premises.
I'm afraid. I don't understand.
There's nothing to understand. Your mortgage is being foreclosed.
But, I haven't got $16,000. I haven't got any money at all.
Mrs. Hudson!
You can't be serious, Mr. Clark.
Mrs. Hudson!
What shall I do? I have no money. Where shall I go? Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
You'd better get inside, Mrs. Hudson. There's quite a draft blowing on you with the door open. Goodbye, Mrs. Hudson. Merry Christmas. Yeah, sure. Merry Christmas.
Oh.
Diner noises. Chip the glasses, crack the plates. Give me another cup of coffee.
Draw one.
When did you say the next train leaves for New York?
About 5 minutes.
Well, I did it. I foreclosed a mortgage. I have reduced an old widow to tears. Maybe there's a couple of orphan children I can evict from a tenement.
Here's your son of a bitch. What is this called?
It's a
Coffee,
brown.
coffee.
Yes, yeah. Thanks.
What were you mumbling to yourself about? Did you have a
Altercation. Struggle.
No, it's like
Punch and blow. Wrestling
like a-
match.
No, it's like it starts with an f sound.
Whoa, I barely know you.
No. Not that.
Right.
Fight. Did you
Oh!
fight with?
No, I don't have a girl. I have a father.
Oh, my father died when I was... No, it wasn't that old. It was when I was 1 year old. Yeah.
Boy, you're lucky, let me tell you. What the fuck?
Well, then my mother died when I was 2.
I just foreclosed a mortgage on an old widow. You know that?
Oh. Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Local Plains, Local White Plains, Scarsdale, Latchmont, 125th Street, Grand Central Station, at the platform now.
Well, I guess I'd better be going.
Excuse, Hello? Railroad No.
Diner.
Shit.
Takeout.
No.
Breakfast. Brunch.
It's right there. Railroad. Shit. Restaurant. Oh, hello, Mrs.
Wallaby.
Wallander.
She's hung up by now.
What is it? We do so many takeout calls this way. What is it? Wait, you want your eggs? Not Sunnyside, but like the other one, like this one. Can't see this.
Over easy. Over medium. Over hard. Over the moon. Over my hammy.
It's so hard to follow the script.
Well, I'll see ya.
Okay, Mrs. Shit, I just said your name. What was it?
Wallander. Slam.
Wallander, thank you. Now, what did you say? What was wrong with Mrs. Oh no, Mrs. Huxton, Hoover, Hudson. What mortgage? Who's going to foreclose on the mortgage? Well, what did he look like? Mrs. Wallander. You tell Mrs. Hudson, that's what I said. I'll be home in a couple of minutes. Click. What? Where'd he go?
That's so perfect.
Give me another cup of coffee.
Oh, what happened? Did you miss your...
Choo-choo!
Right, the...
Railway! Conductor horse!
Not a car. You didn't take a cab. It was like a the locomotive. Like
It was a train!
Train. Yeah, train. That's it.
Yeah, I wanted to miss my train. I don't know what we can do to save the old homestead, but I just can't go off leaving that old lady crying like that. Come on, let's go.
Do you want that,
Bean juice. Hot bean juice.
Okay.
Regular, yeah. No, but give me a Swiss cheese sandwich. We'll bring something home for Soames.
Oh, was that 10? I'll do like one more.
Yeah.
Now, Mrs. I want to say Houston? Mrs. Houston, you just lie still in bed there. Mr. Mr. Clover? Mr. Clean? I want to say Mr. Clean. Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark. Doesn't mind if you stay in bed. Do you, Mr. Clark?
No, you just stay in bed, Mrs. Hudson. Now, Mrs. Hudson, we can save your land, but...
Naomi, could you put this cheese here by Soames Hold?
Of course, Mrs.
Hudson.
Friend. Hudson.
Close enough.
Mrs. Hudson, stop worrying about Soames. You've got to worry about yourself. Now I want you to concentrate.
Yes, Mr. Clark.
No, we can save your land and your home if we could transfer the title of ownership to somebody else who would be very difficult to locate. Because you understand, Mrs. Hudson, in order to foreclose a mortgage, you have to serve papers on the owner of the land.
You didn't. Don't you, Mrs. Hudson?
Yes, of course I do, Naomi.
Now, in your particular case, Mrs. Hudson, if they can't find the owner of the land before January 6th, then they forfeit all their rights to foreclosure on your land. So, you see, you have to think of somebody whom it would be impossible to locate before January 6th.
Michael, Mrs. Hudson.
It's now Betty Boop.
The road broke, okay? I can't always out.
Naomi, I would rather the mortgage be foreclosed than sign this over to my son.
Mrs. Hudson, I am sure you have a very good reason for feeling about your son the way that you do, but he might be just the feller we want to transfer the title to.
Oh, there he goes.
Who?
Soames. He just fetched his cheese.
Soames. Soames. Well, why not? Soames!
Did you say something, Mrs. Clark?
Oh, jeez. Mrs. Hudson, why don't you sign your land over to Soames?
Why, I don't know. It's... This is oddly tracking very well.
I know, right?
A brain who is a mouse.
Why not? People have legally deeded property to cats and dogs. Why not to a mouse?
It seems a little bizarre to me, Mr. Clark.
Mrs. Hudson, there is no reason in the world why you can't transfer property to a pet. Believe me, in the world of business, stranger things have happened than that. I knew a man once transferred the title of his land to Adolf Hitler in order to avoid foreclosure. There, that's an even better precedent. There's a case of a man transferring a title to a rat. A rat. That's sort of a joke, you see. Pretty good, huh? Well, I think I could argue this case very effectively in court.
I think that's a very funny idea.
No, I think it's a corker.
Well,
We'll draw the paper up right now, and then you call notary to witness your signature, give Soames another piece of cheese. He's a landowner.
Oh, this is wonderful.
And a Merry Christmas to us, one and all, Tiny Tim.
you are a very clever young man, Tiny Tim. I'm sorry, Mr. Clark.
Yeah, Mr. Well, I must tell you, I think this is going to work.
I think you're wonderful.
Woo-hoo-hoo! You do.
Your father must be very proud of you, Mr. Clark.
I never thought of that.
You are listening to the Theater Guild on the Air, presented by United States Steel, the industrial family that serves the nation.
Act 2.
Dun, 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 dun. Wee, wee, wee. Sorry.
Dun, dun.
No spoilers, okay.
All right, you crazy kids, it's time for the curtain to rise on the second act of The Meanest Man in the World, starring James Stewart as George. We got Josephine Hull over there as Miss Hudson. Hey, Miss Hudson, how's it going? Colleen Gray is Naomi. Oh, yeah, and Kemi Delmar is Mr. Clark.
Well, an hour later, and everything was all over with. The notary came, and Mrs. Hudson signed the transfer of title, and the notary went off to file it with the county clerk. And I went downstairs with Naomi to have a cup of coffee.
Honestly, I don't know why you're so gloomy. You just did a very nice and noble thing. You should be very proud of yourself.
Yeah.
You're another Sydney cartoon.
Sidney Carton got his head chopped off at the end of the book.
Now I'm switching over to Dot.
Nobody is going to chop off your head.
That's what you think. Well, I guess I gotta go call my father.
The phone's right out there in the hall.
I know the phone's right out there in the hall, but what am I gonna tell my father? I'm gonna tell him Mrs. Hudson transferred the title to a mouse. My father's not the sort of chap who would find that amusing. Then my father's gonna check on the date of the transfer, and then he's gonna figure out that I was up here a good couple of hours before the title was transferred. Then he's gonna put 2 and 2 together, and then you know what?
What?
I'm gonna get my head chopped off like Sidney Carton.
Doesn't your father know it's Christmas?
To my father, Christmas is nothing but a legal holiday. My father says the only way to get ahead in this world is to be mean and ruthless.
Your father sounds like it's better to be an orphan.
Oh, actually, he's not as bad as I make out. He's just a little distorted about things like Christmas. Say, what's Mrs. Hudson? What's Mr. Hudson? Fuck. Say, what's Mrs. Hudson hate her son Michael for?
Oh, well, he was the kind of guy you either have to hate or love.
Ah, and she hates him, huh?
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about him?
I'm married to him, you know.
Well, no, I didn't know.
Yes, I'm married to him. He was kind of wild. After 4 years in an orphan asylum, I guess you fall in love with anything wild. I don't know. He was the first guy I knew. I guess you never get over the first guy. Well, listen, don't get me talking about him.
Would you like to?
I haven't talked about him for a long time. I have a funny feeling I'll start crying if I do. He was pretty mean, George. He didn't leave me very many nice things to remember, but there were a couple nice things, and those are times that make me cry.
Well, go ahead and tell me. Well, if he disappeared 8 years ago, Naomi, you're really not married to him anymore. 7 years, that's desertion. That's New York state law.
Well, I certainly poured my heart out to you, didn't I?
Are you embarrassed?
No, I'm not. There's something awfully decent about you, George. You better go call your father, George. It's almost noon.
Yeah,
George?
Yeah,
George? 7 years? Is that the law?
that's it. That's the law. I guess I better go call my father. Bring, bring.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello, Dad. Can you hear me?
We got Quinn Lowe says a donation for Cucumber is super drunk.
Super drunk. Hello, Dad. Can you hear me? This is George.
Yeah, I can hear you. Whoa. Is everything all right over there?
This is a snack I've run across.
Yeah, what kind of snack?
Mrs. Hudson has transferred the title to somebody else.
All right. So when did this happen? There was no record of transfer on the mortgage. Sent it up this morning, you know. Hey, keep it together.
It must have happened very recently.
Yeah, it sounds kind of fishy to me. Yeah. Sounds like she's got a shady lawyer. I hate lawyers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew a bunch of dead guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who's her lawyer?
Mm-hmm. What?
I said, who's her lawyer? What, you like possessed or something, kid? Come on, what did it say? Who's
Listen, Dad. I'm not really good at this kind of deception. I'm the shady lawyer.
What?
I said I'm the one who advised her to transfer the title.
What did you say?
I said, Dad, it's Christmas. For Pete's sake.
What are you talking about, kid? I don't know.
Dad, this is an old widow. 60 years old. An orphan girl. You could have heard the hard life she's had.
Hey, what do I care about a 60-year-old orphan girl? What are you fucking jittering about?
I was trying to say I didn't have heart to foreclose.
Hey, did you say that you were the lawyer who advised her on the transfer title?
Yes, Dad. Dad. Dad, you still on?
Hey, George.
Yes, Dad.
It's showtime. I'm taking the train up to Hudsonville. I should be there by 1 o'clock. Meet me at the station.
Yes, Dad.
Women's bosses. Oh, excuse me, but I was in front of you. Well, you shouldn't have left your place. Well, I just went to get a pound of butter. Listen, Karen, these are all the grocery store noises.
I never.
Well, Naomi, I got the butter, the eggs, the bread, the Pedialyte, the napkins, the potatoes, the onions, the pepper, and the...
George, my goodness, you don't have to carry all those bundles. Why don't you get one little wire carts over there? Haven't you ever shopped in a supermarket before?
Well, what little wire carts? You mean this little baby carriage here?
That's not a baby carriage. That's a shopping cart.
This one squeaks. Oh, righteous anger. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I'm like, which one is this one?
Omega Dark, thank you for the follow. Thank you.
Can you reach up there and get that bag of flour for me, George?
I feel like a husband.
How's it you're not married, George?
Nobody ever asked me.
You're the one that's supposed to do the asking, George.
Okay, will you marry me?
That isn't funny!
I don't think I meant to be funny.
George, you better get down to the station. It's after 1 o'clock, and your father must be waiting for you.
I'm not going down to meet my father. He'll make me spend the rest of the afternoon with him, and I was kind of working up to suggesting that I spend the rest of the afternoon with you.
What do you feel like doing?
Walk? Talk? It's a nice day. What do you feel like doing?
Walk? Talk? Sounds all right to me.
I'm going to tell you something.
What?
Of course, I'm not very experienced at this sort of thing, but...
What sort of thing, George?
I really have very meager precedent to base this decision on, but from all the evidence, I think I'm in love with you.
George, I'm gonna run home and get rid of these bundles, and
Yeah, and I'll run down to the hotel and get showered and shaved, and...
I'll meet you right here in the front of the supermarket at 2 o'clock.
It's a date.
Hey, thank you for those
Hey,
gifted
thanks for
subs.
Thanks for gifting those subs, OCD123. Thank you very much.
OCD.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Listen, you wanna open the door? I have my arms filled with bundles. Well, hello, Mrs. Hudson. We got everything. I'm gonna bake a cake tonight. I bought a bag of flour. Is something wrong, Mrs. Hudson? Pale.
Naomi, Michael's here.
Where is he?
He's upstairs in his old room.
Ba-da-da-da-ba-do-do.
Michael, can I come in?
Come in. Come in, I'm shaving. Who's that, Naomi?
Yes.
Sit down on the bed. I'll be right out. Whoa, what are you doing in there? Let's sit.
Why did you come back? We had all forgotten about you. We had just about gotten to the point where we could think of you without our hearts aching. We were just beginning to enjoy ourselves. Mrs. Hudson and me. What do you want of us?
I need money.
We haven't got money.
You've got more than I got.
I've got about $200 in the bank. And if we give you the money, will you go away?
Sure.
How the hell have you been?
Fine. Hand me that bathrobe on the chair, Naomi.
Here.
Thanks. I'll be out in a minute. Hello, Naomi.
Hello, Michael.
How long has it been? 8 years? Do you ever think of me, Naomi?
How can I think of anything else? Oh, Michael. Michael.
Na 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 na.
Dark.
She's a very angry orphan.
Hello, hello, desk clerk. Ding, 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 ding. Desk
Just a
clerk.
minute. Just a minute. Ah, Mr. Scrooge.
Give me my key.
Oh, here you are, Mr. Scrooge.
All right. Hello, George.
Hello, Dad. How'd you know I was here?
It's the only one hotel in town.
Well, Dad, I want you to be the first to know I'm in love.
Well, George, I want you to first to know you're fired.
I'll consider that a fair trade.
Where's all the paper on this woman?
There's my briefcase right over there on the table. You don't mind if I wash out while you're going over those papers, do you?
So, who'd she transfer the title to?
What'd you say, Dad?
I said, who did she transfer the title to?
Soames.
Soames who?
Soames, just plain Soames, like Garbo. One name, Dad. Excuse me, but you're sitting on my suitcase.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to put on a new shirt. I got a date with this girl, Dad. She's wonderful, kind-hearted, sweet nature. You'd hate her.
Who's this Soames?
Dad, I got a good shock for you. So I want you to get a good hold on the bed so you won't fall over and hit the floor. This Soames, Dad, is a mouse.
What do you mean?
A mouse, Dad, a little gray mouse. I don't know how you can foreclose on Soames unless you can talk some cat into serving the subpoena.
George boy.
Wee-hoo!
What was that?
Are you serious?
You bet your life I'm serious. I think it's legal.
I think it's fraudulent and deceitful practice, and you may very well find yourself up before the Bar Association tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow's Christmas.
Yes, this is discussed.
Oh, right.
He's just fed up with me, is all.
I was like, that's a quick one, Dad.
He's had enough. It's the end of the week.
George.
Which, I might add, is a legal holiday.
George, I don't like this petulant rebellion of yours.
Dad, I got another shock for you. I happen to think that nice guys win ball games, and the good live as long as they care to. And the way to get ahead in this world is to be decent, considerate of other people, and understanding.
George, sit down.
I'm sitting down, Dad, but I want you to know the only reason I'm doing it is because I have to change my socks.
George, I'm sorry I raised my voice to you.
It's okay, Dad.
I believe that's the first time I ever raised my voice to you.
Yeah, I think that's true, Dad.
You seem to be in a very cavalier frame of mind, George. There's nothing to be cavalier about. You've put me in a devil of a fry. Really, George, a mouse?
The comedy of it appeals to you, then?
It has its charm, but I can't see what you hope to achieve by it. I shall have the woman declared insane.
She's not insane. She's lonely.
A literary distinction, George. I shall have a psychiatrist up here from New York in an hour.
The trouble with you, Dad, is you've been foreclosing mortgages too long. You've forgotten your law. You file suit against this woman's insanity, and I'll appeal it. I don't care if you bring Sigmund Freud up here from New York. I'll appeal it. I'll appeal it in the Court of Appeals, and then I'll appeal it in the Appellate Division, and then I'll appeal it in the Circuit Court of Appeals, and then I'll appeal it in the United States Supreme Court. And by the time I finish appealing it, either you'll be dead, or Mrs. Hudson will be dead, or the mouse will be dead.
Good boy, good. No corpus delicti.
And another thing, you can't declare this woman insane without having her committed by a member of her immediate family, and the only living member of her immediate family disappeared 8 years ago and hasn't been heard of since. What are you fighting so hard over this lousy 20 acres for anyway, Dad?
It is in the interest of my client that this mortgage be foreclosed before tonight, and
Yes, I know.
in the offices of Montgomery and Clark.
It shall be done, I know.
Yes!
Well, I ain't gonna let you do it.
George!
What?
George. I'll give you $10,000 to drop this whole case.
$10,000?
Yes.
It's a lousy 20 acres and a beat-up old house with a lot of mice in it. It's got 2 mortgages on it. What is it, oil? This isn't oil country.
All right, George, listen to me. My client is a very large drug concern. There happens to be a mineral spring on this land. Is something the matter, George?
Not that underground gin.
Whatever it is, the Federal Bureau of Drugs and Pharmaceuticals has been conducting exhaustive experiments on this liquid, and it contains silicon phosphate chloride, a rather unusual compound, which, in its distilled state, is the most beneficial form of anesthetic ever discovered.
Yeah, even in its undistilled state, I hear it packs quite a wallop.
George, my client is probably at this moment signing a contract with a large drug distribution agency, and he is doing so on my advice. Unless that land is legally his by tonight, he will have committed a fraudulent contract, and Montgomery and Clark will have been guilty of advising a client falsely. I will pay you $10,000 to keep Montgomery and Clark's name clean.
You're a pretty clever old fox. Do you know that, Dad?
Really?
You knew just where to hit me, in my kind heart. I never thought I would live to see the day where you could make me feel sorry for you. But it seems I have lived to see the day.
Well, George, what do you say?
I want you to know that you're asking me for my mercy and goodwill, something you said never existed.
I'm not asking for your mercy, George. I am paying you $10,000 for it.
I don't want your $10,000.
George, I can get you disbarred for any number of things you've done today. I can cut you off without a penny and see to it that you don't work in New York again. And I'm offering you $10,000.
Dad, I got a date at 2 o'clock and I'm gonna be late.
George!
Dong,
There's a long
dong,
do-do.
dong, 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 dong.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, who's this, Mrs. Hudson?
Yes.
This is Mr. Clark. I've been calling you all afternoon. Where's everybody been?
Dear Mr. Clark. Dear Mr. Clark.
What's wrong, Mrs. Hudson?
My son has come home.
What?
He wants money. And he went down to the bank, and Naomi drew out all of her savings and gave it to him. And then he went away.
What? Where's Naomi?
I'm afraid she's gone with him. Mr. Clark, she's going to go away with him. They're down at the station now, Mr. Clark. Go find her, Mr. Clark. They're at the station. Go to her. Plead with her. Tell her not to go with him. He's not good. He's not good. He's mean.
The mean will inherit the earth, Mrs. Hudson, and the good die young. This is a dog-eat-dog world, and the road to failure is paved with kind hearts.
Mr. Clark! Mr. Clark!
Dad.
George, there's a psychiatrist on his way up from New York right now, and I've been drawing up this warrant of incompetence for Miss Hudson. You can make this all very easy for me, George, and then that $10,000 is still an offer.
You got a customer. I think I can take you to Mrs. Hudson's son, Michael.
Will he commit his mother to an institution?
From what I heard of him, he'd commit himself for $10. He's probably the meanest man in the world, excepting for you, Dad, and me.
That's my boy.
That's my dad.
You're listening to the Theater Guild on the air, presented by United States Steel, the industrial family that serves the nation. We pause now for station identification. Boom, 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 bing.
Not NBC.
Boom, bing, boom, bing, boom, boom, bing, boom, bing, bong, bing, bong.
And now the curtain rises on the third act of the Meanest Man in the World, starring Jimmy Stewart, Josephine Hull, and Colleen Gray with Kenny Delmar.
Meow, 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 meow.
Boop, boop. Railroad station noises.
What?
All aboard!
That's the girl over there, Dad.
The rather pretty brunette girl, George?
And the fellow with her, I suppose, must be Michael. Look, Dad, I'd rather not see the girl right now. Would you mind making the appointment with Michael Hudson yourself?
Not at all, George.
I'll meet you back at the hotel.
All right, George. Excuse me. Are you Michael Hudson?
Why?
I'm an attorney. My name is Clark of Montgomery and Clark of New York City.
You're George's father.
Yes, Mr. Hudson, I'd like to talk to you about a matter that will bring you in a good sum of money.
How much?
Michael, the train's gonna be in about 10 minutes.
You said a good sum of money, Naomi. What's a good sum of money, Mr. Clark?
I might leave that definition to you, Mr. Hudson.
What do I have to do?
Why don't we go to my hotel room so we can talk?
Michael.
Naomi, don't be so nervous. He said he's going to leave the definition of a good sum of money to me. Okay, Mr. Clark.
Meow, 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 meow.
I think I've explained the matter to Mr. Hudson quite clearly, don't you, George?
Yes, very clearly.
Is it clear? Isn't it, Mr. Hudson?
Yeah, all I got to do is go down with you to the courthouse and swear my old lady's nuts. Is that right?
Yes. George, stop pacing around like that. What's the matter with you?
I feel lousy.
And now we've reached the point where I am supposed to define what a good sum of money is.
How much do you want?
$10,000.
I'll give you 1,000.
Cash.
I haven't got cash on me.
I want cash.
Answer that phone, George.
Yes, Dad.
And then call Mr. Williams at the office. Tell him to bring $1,000 in bills up here immediately.
Hello. This is George Clark. Oh, send him up. Dad,
Yes, George.
psychiatrist is on his way up.
Well, Mr. Clark,
Yes, doctor.
from what you and Mr. Hudson have told me here, I would say casually that the woman is a zoophilic, the patient being governed by a dominant compulsion of withdrawal, seeking their psychic perspective in a pathologically self-created world. In short, the familiar Freudian concept we now call neurotisch Zelitverunglind. Do you know German? Unfortunate. We have many images usually drawn from deep associations with long repressed, dominant, aggressive instincts, thus channeled into unnatural passages of behavior. It is all clear to you, Mr. Clark?
Hold.
Yes.
Thank you. Quinn, backwards. Nuke. So we're all gonna be German. Haley's got that. French, Australian, and one Valley girl. Only exception is Haley's not Valley girl. Well, Haley's doing German.
I'll do Australian.
I can do Valley Girl.
I guess I'm French.
Perfect. Your specialty.
And we'll start it at the page of top of the page 40.
Okay, top of page 40.
Yeah, for 2 pages. Yes.
Well, explain it to me. I got lost somewhere in the middle there and I have no idea what I was talking about. Take your time.
Means that. Gosh.
You're Australian?
I'm trying to be Australian.
Like D&D is for nerds. Adam.
Adam. Yes.
Do you want German instead?
No, it's fine. Give me a sec.
You'll be
hearing-
surprised how many countries Kermit is from.
Come on, Ryan. You just pull out your
It means that this woman is legally insane and incompetent to take care of her own affairs.
Yes.
It's getting late, Doc. I think we better get over and examine the old lady.
Well, I'm afraid I'll have to ask Mr. Hudson here some more questions about his mother.
All right, but hurry it up, George. Where are you going?
I'm going downstairs to the cocktail lounge. I feel lousy.
Perfect.
Bar noises, clink and such.
Ding, 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 ding.
Hello, George.
Hello, Naomi.
What does your father want with Michael?
I want him to swear out the...
Nope, fuck. I went German because I heard German. This is why I can't be in a choir.
He wants him to swear out the warrant of incompetency, declaring that his mother is insane, and that therefore any contract he has signed is null and void. I still win German. Be fucking damned.
Hey,
And Michael must have thought this was a dandy idea, didn't he?
yeah.
How much is he getting for it?
$1,000. Dollars. I'll tell you. Hey, what are you looking at me for? He's your husband, not mine. Listen, Rusty Tooth, you don't get to talk about accents. Ever. Anyway.
What do you mean, my husband?
Exactly. It's hard.
What do you mean, my husband?
Well, I can only assume that...
He left me 8 years ago. That's desertion. That's the New York State law, isn't it?
Naomi...
Well, isn't it New York State law? You told me it was.
It's New York State law, all right. If for a period of 7 years or more...
You mean, well, what are we standing around for? Let's go.
Don't you understand, Mrs. Hudson? They're trying and prove you're insane.
Fuck.
Why?
Fuck.
I don't believe I'm insane. Do you, Naomi?
Nine. Of course we don't, Mrs. Hudson.
Then how do they intend to prove it?
2 pages, but
Are we there?
that was 2 pages.
Oh, okay.
That's my only Valley Girl?
That's
Or do I
it.
keep going, Valley Girl?
You can go more if you like.
I got a little.
That's up to you. Yeah, I know it's German, Corey. I know French and I have a long history. That's all I got. Well, quite frankly, Mrs. Hudson, to anybody that just walking in here cold, all these mice, and well, it would seem eccentric.
But I do like mice, Mr. Clark.
It's a taxi.
I think they're here. A taxi just pulled up in front of the house.
This is the only way I can help you. This is not just a legal issue of insanity. Your son Michael is going to commit you, and that means I'll have to fight this case in surrogate's court instead of civil court, which means that it's much too complicated to explain now, Mrs. Hudson, but please do what I tell you.
I'm sure you're making too much out of the psychiatrist. I'm sure he will just see this as a little eccentricity of an old, lonely woman.
They're here. Now, Mrs. Hudson,
Yes, doctor?
you say you have even given some of these mice names.
Oh, the ones I recognize.
They have individual personalities for you.
Yes, they are quite different if you watch them long enough. Right here in this room is a sort of casual fellow. He's my favorite. This one, sometimes when I'm lying in bed, sometimes when I sometimes think I hear them moving about the floor, watching me, trying to figure me out. Just like you're doing right now, Doctor.
Yes, and you think these mice are almost people.
I think of them more highly of them than I do of most people I know.
You think more highly of them than of people.
Yes, I have been watching my mice for many years, and in all that time, I do not believe I've ever seen one mouse swindle one oar.
Yes, of course, Mrs. Hudson, but...
Or get drunk and smash windows like those terrible young men down the block. And mice don't persecute smaller mice, Doctor. And I do not believe that I've ever seen one mouse beat his wife or rob a bank. And of course, I'm not sure, Doctor, but I do not think that mice have a need for psychiatrist mice or lawyer mice or... Listen to my radio silence. I feel... Is that me? No.
Yes. That's still
Listen
you.
to my radio silence. I feel very relieved to sit quietly in my chair and enjoy rather untroubled society of these lower animals.
Aha. Yes, I see. Well, let's go on then.
Oh, Dad.
What time is it, George?
It's almost 4 o'clock. Oh, Dad, I have to tell you something.
That doctor's taking a long time in there. It's not going to leave me very long to get that warrant sworn out before the court closes. Wait a minute, I think he's coming. Well, doctor?
Mr. Clark, there is a Freudian concept called near-infatualism in the ed stage, which I myself dispute, but which causifies a certain case of zoophilism, which usually manifests itself in a love image of small animals. This subliminatory transference being related to the outer hunger need of manic diffusion.
And what precisely does that mean?
Mr. Clark, we should all be as insane as that woman.
What are you talking about?
I'll be very honest with you. Mr. Clark, sometimes I myself don't know what I'm talking about, but I can tell you quite categorically that after listening all day long, 6 days a week, to the horrible emotional problems of our time, it was a pleasure to spend 1 hour with Mrs. Hudson.
I'm not paying you a fat fee to come all the way up from New York to enjoy this woman's company.
You are paying me a fat fee to determine her sanity. I'm telling you, she's sane.
Well, I guess I can find a quack who will sign a certificate for that woman.
Bring, bring. There's the phone, Dad.
That must be Williams calling from the hotel.
Hey, Dad, there's something I have to tell you.
Well, goodbye, Mr. Clark. I'll send you a bill in the morning. Oh, Mr. Clark, there's a long-distance phone call for you from a Mr. Gallagher.
Gallagher? Oh, all right. I'm coming down. And, young lady, you tell your husband to get his coat on. We're going right down to the courthouse anyway.
My husband's gone. Didn't George tell you?
He wouldn't give me the chance.
What do you mean he's gone?
He just went out. Didn't he, George?
He sure did.
Where did he go?
Where'd he say he was going, Naomi?
He didn't say.
Well, what happened?
I told him if he went down to the courthouse and swore out a warrant for Mrs. Hudson, I'd go down with him and swear out a warrant for him in the next office.
What sort of warrant could you swear out?
For desertion.
And for non-support, Dad. Do you remember, Dad, how his eyes lit up when you mentioned the word cash to him? Well, at the sound of the word, non-support.
But this girl can't sue him for non-support. They've been separated for 8 years. It's not legal.
Oh, we know that, but he didn't.
Mr. Clark, you'd better answer your phone call.
All right. Give me the phone. Hello? Gallagher?
Hello, Clark?
Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm afraid I can, Mr. Gallagher.
I've been trying to get a hold of you all afternoon. I just got this office number from your... Oh, I got this number from your office. Clark, have you foreclosed on that mortgage yet? Well, drop the whole thing, will you, Clark? I've been advised not to go through with this foreclosure.
You've been advised by another lawyer?
No, by my psychoanalyst.
By a what?
I've been suffering from very severe headaches these last few years, and my psychoanalyst says they're due to guilt complexes. And I was sitting there in a Blackstone hotel thinking about this mortgage, and after all, it is Christmas, and I'm going to drive some poor woman out of her home, and before I knew it, I had worked myself up another severe headache. So I called my analyst, and he advised me to drop this whole thing. I hope I haven't caused you too much inconvenience, Clark.
No, not at all. Truth of the matter is, I'm rather glad you made this decision. Well, Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Gallagher.
A Merry Christmas to you, Clark.
Oh, George! George!
Yes, Dad?
Well, George, do you Or do you not intend to marry this young woman here?
What do you say, Naomi?
Well, in the words of Montgomery and Clark,
It shall be done.
The curtains fall in the Theater Guild on the air production of The Meanest Man in the World, sponsored by United States Steel Corps. We express our thanks to our stars James Stewart as George, Josephine Hull as Mrs. Hudson, Colleen Gray as Naomi, and Kenny Delmar as Mr. Clark. All thanks also to the other members of the cast. Remember next week on the U.S. Steel Tour, Oliver Twist starring Razzle Rathbone, Boris Karloff, funny enough, Louine McGrath, and Melvin Cooper. And remember that the trademark of United Steel, USS. Only any steel product is your guide to quality steel. Your announcer is Norman Brokenshire. The United States Steel Corporation hopes that you will be with us next Sunday at the same time.
not enemy.
End.
Yay! We did the thing.
First one done. First one done.
Yay!
Some fun ones on us today.
Haley, I
Razzle
bow
Rathbone.
to you. I bow
This is
to you.
fun. This is a cute one. I like it.
Brian's Beetlejuice might just be tops.
Remember that French accent wasn't very good. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it was very German. It was extraordinarily German.
Closer to France than
border.
we are, so I called it a win.
I'm gonna call that my Trier accent. That's my
The dollars who got me. Dollars.
dollars.
The dollars.
Yeah, hard one.
That was awesome. Good donations. Do they know there was a lot of mice in this? Is that why they don't? Why they were asking
That
about all
might
the
have
mice?
just been coincidence because Animaniacs started up again today, so I think
Yep.
that's where
Yeah.
that came from. And they just ran out of the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister, and then we ended up with that.
Yeah, that dot was awesome too.
Grandma in the Garage says this show be fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Grandma. Come on.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I'm glad y'all had laughs.
a nice one,
Good
the
time.
Grouch.
As always, you can find us here for this show, Trashterpiece Theater, every week. Obviously, the cast changes out week from week, so definitely tune in to see who shows up. Look, we got a Kenny.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. First time.
Yeah,
Hopefully not the
first
last.
time.
Hopefully.
No, never coming back. I'm kidding. Kidding. Yeah, but make sure you join us. Next thing up would normally be Sunday, but that's not true. Tabletop for Two is now moving to Monday afternoons at 2 p.m. instead of Sundays at 1. So join us again on Monday. We might throw something fun at you Sunday during the day, something like that. Keep posted, but nothing will be scheduled on our actual schedule. So check the posted schedule on Sunday to see what we're up to for the entire week. And in the meantime, we're going to look for somebody to raid right now, because as always, we're going to pay that love forward.
Thank you,
It's
Justin.
the world. I'm never. Yo, French is my
we are
weakness. My weakness.
We're
Tabletop
gonna
for
raid
two on-
Trooper
at two.
SJP. They're playing some tabletop RPGs. Yeah.
Wait, which channel? Who are you on to?
Trooper SJP.
Trooper SJP.
Yeah.
You lots of love.
Yeah.
Get your emotions ready.
SJP.
Get your emotions ready.
Everybody, have a wonderful
Everybody, love you.
evening.
Toss to you all. Kisses. Smooches. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Kisses, smooches.
All right. Hey, thanks, Kronk Bash. Much appreciated. Have a nice night, too. Bye.
Bye.